Hello, my name is Sophie Fletcher. I'm a clinical hypnotherapist, a doula, and the author of the best-selling book, Mindful Hypnobirthing. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about your hormones, oxytocin and adrenaline. I'm going to stick to those two because this is an introductory video, and I always like to keep things as simple as possible with hypnobirthing. We're going to start with oxytocin. Oxytocin is your birth hormone. This is the hormone that keeps things moving. So that as labour begins, the movements and the things that are happening as baby prepares to be born send a message to the brain saying things are ready. And that can trigger the oxytocin, which then begins to trigger the contractions, which then triggers more oxytocin, which triggers more contractions. And this is called a positive feedback loop. If you imagine it as like a conversation between your mind and your body, helping you to birth. So oxytocin is really, really important, but you need to understand the characteristics of oxytocin to give it the right environment to create the space within which it feels able to birth. So I like to give the hormones characteristics just to help you think about them a little bit differently. So if oxytocin had a character, it would be someone who would like their privacy. They're quite quiet, maybe a bit retiring. They like to feel safe and secure with the people that are around them. They like to feel supported and loved. That's when they've really come out of their shell. So I really want you to think about the type of environment that oxytocin might need. Adrenaline is your fight or flight hormone, and it does play a role in birth. I sometimes hear people say, oh no, we don't want any adrenaline, adrenaline's the enemy during birth. And actually I like to see adrenaline in a different light. I like to see it as your watching out companion. So adrenaline looks out, is part of that system that is looking out for you, making sure that you are safe, that there are no threats around. Never forget that you're a mammal. You know, you are a human being, but under everything, you're a mammal. And like other mammals, you need a similar environment to birth in. We may not have the same threats that we had thousands of years ago, but we can still feel threatened. And if that happens, if the environment feels threatening in any way, it can slow labour down. And that's a message from your body to say, I don't feel safe birthing in this environment. And if you have a surge of adrenaline during labour, it slows oxytocin down. So oxytocin keeps labour moving. And if for any reason you don't feel safe to birth, if there are threats nearby, adrenaline shows up, but oxytocin and adrenaline can't be in the same room at the same time. I always say to people that I'm working with, if things slow down, is not what's gone wrong, but what's changed in the environment. You know, why do you suddenly feel anxious or threatened in that environment for adrenaline to make an appearance? Adrenaline is also important around transition. So that's a part in labour when things are really happening, your baby's coming. And typically this would mean in the wild, looking out for any predators nearby and finding a place that's safe to nest for the next couple of hours, because you're not going anywhere when your baby's coming at this point. It's really happening. And so this is like, you know, imagine a little meerkat coming up and checking out the environment. This is adrenaline at this point. And so you may suddenly feel more alert. And some people will notice that adrenaline surge, others may not. It's a completely personal thing. And on a hypnobirthing course, you'll find out more about that and tools to manage that. So those are your two hormones. So you've got your oxytocin and you've got your adrenaline, and both of them have roles to play. But principally, you want the environment to nurture oxytocin. You need to feel private, safe, and unobserved.